Attention! The following video is going to be kind of awkward, like learning how to ride a bicycle or trying to groom the hair around your genitals for the first time, because that's not the kind of thing they teach in school, but I wish they did, because if you shave a boy's pubes, they will grow back, but if you teach a boy to shave his pubes, I would not have these embarrassing scars around my nether regions. Enjoy. Hey, what's going on, guys? I am a fucking chicken. Okay, that's not true. Okay, Halloween's over, and I never get to wear that mask, so I just wanted to take this opportunity today to be a chicken, but now I'm just gonna be Joel or NobodyEpic, and this is Awkward Situations, the series where you guys write your real life, honest, awkward situations that have happened to you in the comment section of this video. And then for the next episode of Awkward Situations, I'll bring one or two of those comments up, talk about them, dissect them, tell you how and if they relate to my life, and maybe there will be a little bit of humor, a little bit of advice, but not good advice, usually terrible advice. But you learn by making mistakes, and that's how I was born, so hope my parents learned something. That Durex is a terrible brand of condoms. No, I was purposeful. It was my brother. That was a mistake. I don't know. That's probably not true. Anyway, I don't look great right now. I want to do the face cam because two people said face cam in the comment section of the last Awkward Situation, so I was like, okay, I'm easily influenced to put my face in a video. So yeah, I know I'm unshaven and it's fall video game season and it's cold outside of Michigan, so I really don't need to impress anyone. And you know, usually people get ready to go out and stuff when they're going to the store to buy Pop-Tarts, and you know, just in case they see someone at the store, and I do that too, but for some reason when like 100,000 people are gonna watch my video or whatever, I don't feel the need to do that because I don't see you. I just read your comments and cry silently. So but I love all of you, and this is some more Battlefield 4 next gen gameplay. Played that on the PlayStation 4 at EA's studios in Redwood City with some other YouTubers and some press people, as you can see in the kill feed, or I've talked about it before because I put this gameplay up last week, or a different gameplay, but the same day. And it was awesome, and I'm very excited to play video games on the next generation of consoles. I've been playing some PC games lately, and it kind of really shows you the difference between consoles that were made in the mid-2000s, between the technology that we have today, and these new consoles are going to be on par with modern day computers, at least for the most part. So I'm very excited for that because I love the console experience. I love how easy it is to talk to your friends, and I just like the feel of a good old console in my hands vibrating, taking me through the experience of war that isn't even close to the real experience of war. But I don't know, it looks great, feels great, and I'm very excited, and I think it is time to get started with our first Awkward Situation. In case you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm reading these off my iPhone, but our first Awkward Situation says, okay, so I went to a concert last week with my friends. We are 14. I saw a Battlefield 3 case on the floor. That relates to this gameplay, so that's kind of why I picked it. Also, I got an email on my computer, but okay, let's keep going. So I decided to put it in my backpack for later when I got home. I went to go take a shower at home later, and my mom was inspecting my bag. She checked behind the manual of the Battlefield 3 case that was in my backpack, and there were 2 pills of ecstasy there. She started yelling and crying at me, worried those were mine, and she was screaming, I am a failure of a son. I can't look at her without tension. Help! Okay, so this guy found a case of Battlefield 3 on the floor at a concert with ecstasy in it. I'm not sure what concert this was. My first concert was D12, and you can Google them if you want to. I was in college at the time, but yeah, they're a pretty aggressive rap group, and the whole bar that this was at smelled like marijuana. So that was kind of cool, but it sounds like he was at one of those kind of concerts too, because I don't think a lot of people are taking ecstasy to see Taylor Swift. Like, there's no guy in the front row of a Taylor Swift concert where she's like, my ex-boyfriend is a douche, and the guy in the front row is like, he's such a douche, somebody feel my face. And yeah, so you don't really see that. I don't know if it really matters what kind of concert you're at. I don't know why I was thinking about that. But, so you took a Battlefield 3 case home, and there's ecstasy in it, and your mom found it, and she's all like, you suck as a son. And honestly, that's terrible as a parent if you're gonna say your kid is a failure at anything, because you're supposed to be a failure as a kid. Like, it is your job to fuck up a lot of times, but you gotta learn from those fuck ups. Like, you just learned that you don't take Battlefield 3 cases from the floors of concerts. You buy those in the store, or you borrow them from a friend that has a great reputation, because those concert Battlefield 3s are real iffy. And yeah, so I really don't like what your mom said. Just I think she kind of had a freak out session. She obviously doesn't think you're a failure, really. She just, you know, don't know how to be a parent. There's no manual for being a parent. You know, as when I was younger, I mean, I still look at my parents kind of like they're heroes to me, but as I'm getting older to the age where I could be a parent someday, sooner than when I was a kid, obviously, I kind of realize you don't really change from when you're a kid. You just gain experiences. So there's no manual for being a parent. She kind of fucked up there, but you know, you're gonna move past that. And as for the ecstasy thing, it's, you know, it's hard to explain that it's not yours. It's probably gonna look like it's yours, but hopefully you can explain it away and you won't have any more mishaps like that. I can remember a couple of times where I had some run-ins with parents, and it feels like the worst thing in the world at the time. You guys ever have it when you do something that you know you're gonna get in trouble for and your parents are gonna find out about, whether it be at school or something, and you get home before them and you're just waiting for them to get home, like, fuck, I want my entire life to end right now. My parents are gonna kill me. Like, that is the worst feeling in the world. And I'm pretty straight-laced in terms of things I did in school. I wasn't a big troublemaker, and I didn't like being defiant of my parents. Sometimes I did, but I really didn't like when my parents were angry at me. I just like impressing my parents. I don't know what kind of person that makes me. Like, my brother and sister, I feel like, are more defiant than me. But I remember one time I was messing around with my friend at home in the summer, and I shot the stained glass window. We had like a door that was made of glass that slid open to go outside and through the back. And I shot it with a BB gun, and it shattered the entire door. And I knew my dad was gonna be pissed about that. Like, when my mom got home, I like walked, because my mom got home first and then my dad from work. And I like showed my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm so sorry. Dad's gonna be mad. She's like, he's probably gonna be upset about this. So I went into the woods and played out there for 6 hours. And I came back at night when he was more relaxed, and he wasn't too mad about it. I had to pay for it, so that was a lesson I learned. If you fuck up, you have to pay for things. Very important lesson. But you know, life moves on. It's the most terrible thing at the time, but it's something you will look back on either as a nostalgic lesson in 5 to 10 years or a humorous story. And your story is definitely going to be a humorous story, in my opinion. Also, just kind of quickly, drug-related things. I was at a friend's house, and I don't even remember what we were doing. I think we were looking at like shit on the internet, like funny pictures. It was kind of in the earlier days of well, not the earlier days of the internet, but it was in the early 2000s. So I don't really know what we were doing. We were like 14 or 15, and his dad came home, and he walked in and he thought the house smelled like marijuana, and we didn't have marijuana. I think like maybe some people had smoked marijuana. Some of my friends had smoked marijuana at that point or something. I don't know. I've never done that really, so I'm not really into that, but I obviously know what marijuana smells like because I am in college. But so he comes in to the house, his dad does, and he freaks out. He's a big, intimidating guy, and it was really scary. And I was like, no sir, I don't smoke that koosh. I stay away from that stinky stuff. So I was just trying to explain that I got good grades, and he knew I was a good kid. I don't know, he just had a bad day or something, but I don't know. That story really doesn't have an ending. I wish I should make up some endings for these stories that really don't have endings. And at the end of that story, you know, he came in and then he found a bong and he smashed it over my friend's head and killed him. So, next awkward situation. Our next awkward situation is a little more serious. It says, "Hey nobody, my grandmother has Alzheimer's disease and dementia. She lives with us as my grandfather died a few years back. I do love her, but to put it bluntly, she is very confused and quite annoying. She is always asking about things and she can't really do much for herself. I know I sound like an asshole for saying that, but it's true. She lived with my family and I for 5 years now. She's lived with my family and I for 5 years now. At first, I was understanding, but now I'm quite blunt with her. How can I overcome this? Thanks, dude." Sometimes I see comments in the comment section like, how does nobody relate to all these situations? And one reason is because I've been on the earth for a decent amount of time, 23 years. That's about a quarter of the amount of time you're supposed to be on the earth, or a little more for a human, but also I really only pick things that I relate to or feel like I can relate to and talk about. And this is one of those things because I had this exact same situation happen in my lifetime. And to kind of paint the picture for you, I used to go to my grandparents' house a lot when I was a little kid. It was my grandpa, my grandma, and my aunt, who also has, this isn't really related to your situation, but she has a mental defect, so she lived with them. But I would go there a lot because my parents worked a lot, and they would take me places, like we would go traveling, go camping around the state. That's a popular thing to do in Michigan, go camping places. And yeah, that was really fun. And maybe when I was like 9 or 10, I don't remember the specific age, but we stopped doing that stuff as much. And my grandma, she developed Alzheimer's and dementia, the exact same thing you said. And you learn that you have it it's honestly the worst possible way to die. I could think of a million, I'd rather die by cancer than by Alzheimer's, to be honest, because at least you still have your memories. Like, that is the one thing that separates, I feel like, us from anything else. I mean, other animals have memories, I feel like, probably, but that's just such a complex function, and when people die, that's how they live on. You still remember them and stuff. But if you have Alzheimer's, it's just, you lose it all. So that's terrible. Plus you die really slowly too. Like, you slowly start to forget things until your heart forgets how to function, or I don't know the specific science behind it. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, so she stopped. It was really sad because she doesn't remember my name, and she barely remembered my grandpa's name and all that stuff. And then my grandpa died, and my dad had to make a really difficult decision because my grandpa was the sole caretaker of her. It was like in 2003. And my grandma had like really bad Alzheimer's this time. She really could not function without another person. So he had to make a really tough decision to put her in a senior assisted living home. And obviously that's not the situation you have, but yours is more direct. But I would sometimes go with my dad to visit her, and I hated it. And I don't feel bad saying that because that's not the person that raised me as a kid. And I mean, it kind of is, but just honestly at her funeral, like, I didn't really even feel sad. I kind of felt relieved because I know that she was like suffering. And I think you just need to try to be patient with your grandma because she will not be with you much longer, and she's suffering right now in a way that she cannot explain because she does not know how. That's how terrible that is. And it's really heavy to think about, and I don't really like talking about heavy things on my channel, but it's something I can relate to, so I feel like I owe it to people going through that situation to just kind of say, just try to be patient. I know it's hard. I know you say you have to be blunt with her, but she is literally suffering until her death. And if it takes a couple of extra seconds out of your day to explain to her where something is because she has no idea, not a big deal. So just try to think about that, because I remember thinking about that at the funeral, how I was relieved that she wasn't suffering anymore, and how I felt like shit that I didn't visit her more because of how bad she was suffering. I don't know. I don't regret it, but it's a rough thing you're gonna live through and learn that life is tough. So I want to give all of you guys a hug, and I love you. Thanks for watching Awkward Situations. Hope you guys have a great day and enjoyed this, whatever. I don't know, fuck, this is awkward. I'm going to put my chicken mask back on.